This is the M4 paper from November 2023 from CCEA. Let's take a wee look then at question 1. The scatter graph shows information about how many times a day people check their phones. So scatter graph then looks like this. Describe the correlation between the age of a person and the number of times they check their phone. So as you can see, as the age goes up, the number of times goes down, so that there would be a negative correlation. Insert the correct word to complete the following sentence. The data point at 60, 102. So let's see, 60, 102 is going to be this one here, and obviously that then is an outlier. Question 2. A sports referee trains by running diagonally across a rectangular pitch as shown in the diagram below. The referee wants to run a distance of at least 1 kilometre. How many diagonal runs are needed? So this is going to be Pythagoras. So if we go for C, A and B, and C squared equals A squared plus B squared, C squared equals 85 squared plus 110 squared. C squared equals, if you put that into your calculator, it's 19325. So of course, to find the diagonal distance, we've got to find the square root of 19325, and put that into your calculator, you get 139.014, and it kind of runs on for a while there. So we then need to do, obviously, so it's 139 meters, so we need to do 1,000, because that's my 1 kilometer, divided by 139.014, and you end up with 7.193. So if you do 7 139s, it won't get you there, so you need to do 8 to make sure they've run at least 1 kilometre. Question 3, find the area of the kite below. Well, it's just going to be a half 9 times 4. Gives us 18. A company took 42 employees on a team building day. Each person was able to choose the sporting activities to do and whether or not they have lunch. The Venn diagram shows this information. How many people did not take part in either of the sporting activities? So here's the climbing, here's the abseiling, so it must be 4. How many people did not have lunch? Well, the people who didn't have lunch are outside this circle, so it's 5 and 3 and 7, which is going to be 15. The cost for someone to take part in one sporting activity and have lunch was £16. How much did the company pay for people who took part in one sporting activity and had lunch? So we're dealing with these people here. These people took part in 2 sporting activities, so we don't want those guys, we want these people here. So it's going to be 11. So it's going to be 11 then times 16, and that gives you then £176. Question 5, C is coordinates -24 and coordinate D is coordinates 8, 7. Find the coordinates of midpoint of CD. There's a couple of different methods for this. You can use the formula, which would be x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. And in this scenario then -2 plus 8 give me 6 over 2, and then 4 plus 7 is 11 over 2, and 6 over 2 is 3, 11 over 2 then is 5.5. You can of course just find halfway between this, and halfway between this, and that would get you the answer as well. Graph represents the fare in pounds for a taxi journey at distance in miles. Paula was charged £8.40 for her journey to work. How many miles did Paula travel? So if it cost her £8.40, we're going to be going across here and down. That's the £8.40 mark there. So we go across and go down, and that's coming out then a distance of 5 miles. What was the cost per mile charged by the taxi firm? Well, there's a couple of different ways of doing this one. You kind of want to work out for every one you go across, how many miles you're going up. So you can do it in a couple of different ways. I would pick this point here and potentially this point here, just because it's easier to work out a gradient. That didn't go well. And then across here. So we know that for between 2 miles and 7 miles, sorry, let me show you that again, between 2 miles and 7 miles, so for 5 miles it costs £4. So £4 for 5 miles, so we want to do 400 divided by 5, and that's then going to give you 80p. On then to question 7. So Raymond's car insurance quote is £1,200 for a year. He is entitled to 30% off for his no claims discount. If he plays online, he gets 5% discount off this reduced price. How much will the online price be? Well, whatever way you want to work this out, so if he's 30% off, it's going to be 1,200 times 0.7, and that gives you 840. Of course, you can just work out 10%, work out 30%, take it off, whatever method you want to do, and then 5% off this. 0.95, and I think that ends up giving you 798. Again, feel free to find 10% would be 84, find 5%, that'll be half of that, and take that off, but it's 798. Raymond's father says the total discount is 35%. Is he correct? Well, I don't think so, but let's check. So it's 1,200, and if it's 35% discount, we're multiplying by 0.65. If you times it by 0.65, you get 780, as opposed to, so it's not 798, so that will be 35% off, and that obviously then isn't the same, so the answer to that is no. Question 8, solve the following. So I want to add 5 to both sides. We're going to x over 3 is 7, and then times by 3, so x is 21. Find the lowest common multiple of 60 and 36. You can just go up in 60s and work out when 36 goes in, or you can do your product of prime factors, just whatever method you want to do. But if you go 60, 36 doesn't go into 60. Then try 120, 36 doesn't go into 120. Then try 180, and 36 does go into 180, so 180 is the answer. Now there is the other method, using the product of primes, as I said, but I haven't done that here. A rectangle has length x plus 5, x plus 2. The area of the rectangle is 54. Jacob is asked to find the value of x. He starts his solution as shown. Continue the solution to this equation to find the value of x. So he's done this times this to get that. He's then done FOIL to multiply this out. X squared plus 7x plus 10 is 54. Continue the solution to find the value of x for this rectangle. So you're then going to go x squared plus 7x. And the way to solve a quadratic equation like that is to take away the 54, so it's minus 44 equals 0. Solve quadratic equations, generally put it equal to 0. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give minus 44, and the same two numbers add to give me 7. So they're going to be x plus 11 and x minus 4. So that means x is minus 11. That doesn't make sense, or x equals 4. So the value of x then is 4. Show that that simplifies to that. So if algebraic fractions here, I'm going to find a common denominator. So I'm going to times top one of this one by 3. That gives me 9x minus 3 all over 6 plus 11 minus 7x all over 6. I'm going to join those together. 9x minus 3 plus 11 minus 7x all over 6. 9x take away 7x, that gives me 2x minus 3 plus 11 plus 8 all over 6. If you want to get factorized out to 2 here, or just realize we can cancel a 2 and everything, so it gives me x plus 4 over 3, and that's what they're looking for up there at the top. Question 12. We get these four lines. It says A, B, C, D are four straight lines. C and D are parallel. That's okay. The equations of three of the lines are y equals 4x, y equals 5 minus 4x, and y equals 5. Use this information to find the fourth line. So y equals 5. It's this one here. That also gives us this wee point here, which must be 5. Y equals 4x. So y equals 4x has a gradient of 4 and a y-intercept of 0, because remember it's y equals mx plus c, and in this scenario c 0, so that must be this one here because it goes through the origin. So that's the line y equals 4x. Y equals 5 minus 4x, well there's only one with a negative gradient here, so it's going to be y equals 5 minus 4x, and the final one we need to work out then is going to be this line, which is line c. Well, it has the same gradient as this one, so it's going to be y equals 4x, and then the y-intercept is 5, so it's y equals 4x plus 5. Question 13. A force of 240 newtons is applied to a brake pad of area 0.32. Calculate the pressure. Pressure is force over area, 240 divided by 0.32. Put it into your calculator and you will get 750. And sorry, give units for your answer. So what do we have on the top? We have force on the top and then area on the bottom, so it's newtons per meter squared. Question 14. A circular pizza is cut into 6 equal slices. The pizza has diameter 10 inches. If 2 of the slices of pizza are eaten, what area of pizza remains? Well, we're looking for 2/3 then of the area of the circle. If you have your pizza like this, 2 bits are eaten, so we're kind of left with 2/3. So the area we're looking for is 2/3 times pi times 5 squared, because it's pi r squared, so it's 2/3 pi r squared. Remember, r in this case is 5, so it's going to be 2/3 times pi times 25. Again, check your calculator, you get 52.35, I think, in terms of squares. Question 15. Calculate the interquartile range for the following data. 24, let me see, up to there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's going to be my median in there. So we need to kind of middle of this. It's going to be 25, and that then will be 31. So interquartile range then is 31, take away 25. In this case, it's going to be 6. For data in A, which average would be most representative? Give a reason for your answer. So which average, mean, mode, or median? The mode in this case is 2 modes, 25 and 30. The mean we could kind of sit and work it out, but it's actually going to be the median. The reason is this 92 here totally skews all the data. Otherwise, they're all in and around that. And so if you work out the mean, it's going to be skewed by that 92. So in this scenario, my answer is the median. And it's because it's not affected by the extreme value. Question 16. 90 apprentices sat an engineering examination. Cumulative frequency graph is shown below, so that's okay. Use your graph to estimate the median. So there was 90, so we're going to go across at 45 and read down. And again, just go as accurately as we can, I think. A sharp pencil going across and reading down. For me, that's looking like it's going to be 38. So my answer here is going to be 38. The pass mark was 34. Use your graph to estimate how many apprentices passed. So we need to go up then at 34. So again, careful with your scale. Reading across here, you go up. And we have this here, reading across. And that value then is going to be 36. So that's not 36 people that passed, it's 36 is down. So we need to go 90, take away 36. 90 minus 36. So our answer to that one then is going to be 54. Question 17, the table below shows information about the ages of a company's workforce. So we have this here. The owner of a company wants to carry out a survey on health and well-being. Decides to take a stratified sample of 100 workers. Explain why it is appropriate to take a stratified sample. Well, in this one here, there's different amounts of people. There's only 127 in this group. So say you take 25, 25, 25, 25. That's not representative. There's way more in this group. There's supposed to be more kind of taking this. So because we're vastly different amounts in each group, so a stratified sample is the way to go. Calculate the number of workers he should sample from each group. Well, what we need to do is add these up. So if you add these up, you get 1584, and effectively to work it out, so we're going to go 340 over 1584 and times by 100. So for each of these, let's do that. So let's see, 340 over 1584 times by 100. And I'm reliably being informed that that is going to give me the nearest whole number is 21 for the 20. So that's for the 21 to 30 group. For the 31 to 40 group, that's 712 over 1584 times 100, and that gives me 45. For the 41 to 50 group, it's 405 over 1584 times by 100, and that gives me 26. And then for the final group, it's 127 over 1584 times 100, and that then gives me 8. So those then are the numbers I'm putting in. So let's see if you can see that okay. So 21, 45, 26, and 8. Question 18, ABC, that's the whole thing, is a right angle triangle, and that's 31. AC is 6.2. D is the point of the line such that ABDB is 55. Calculate the length of the line BD. Give your answer to 3 significant figures. There's a couple of different ways really of attacking this, but I'm going to take the whole triangle and do SOHCAHTOA to find this. Then once I have this and this, I can find then the point BD. I'm actually going to draw this out below. You don't need to do this, but it just helps me. So this is the triangle ABC, and I know that's 31, and I know that's 6.2, and I know that's the opposite. That's the adjacent, and that's the hypotenuse, and I want the opposite. I have the hypotenuse, so I'm going to use sine. Sine x is O over h. Sine 31 is O over 6.2, so O is 6.2 times sine 31, and that gives me, I think, 3.1932, something in and around there. Then I'm going to take the wee triangle, and that's 3.1932. This is what I'm trying to find out, and I know this angle here then is 55. Hope that makes sense. You can see it above, so I've lifted out this one now. So I want this and this, so that's O and that's A, so I'm going to use tan this time. So I'm going to go for tan x is O over A. Tan 55 equals 3.1932. Again, try and keep that number in your calculator, it makes things much more accurate. And then that's over x, whatever way you worked out. So to get this on its own, it's going to be x is 3.1932, so on and so forth, divided by tan 55, and stick that into your calculator, and you get BD. Then the 3 significant figures comes out to be 2.24. Question 19. A box open at the top has a total external surface area of 140 centimeters squared. The length of the box is 2x plus 1. The width and height of the box are both x. Show that x squared plus 3x minus 140 equals 0. So we have 5 things here to work out the area of. We've kind of this face here, which is x times x, which is x squared, and that's the same as that. So that's going to be x squared plus x squared. We have the bottom one, which is here, that's x times 2x plus 1. And then we have this kind of front facing one, which is 2x plus 1 times x. And this one here, which is 2x plus 1 times x. So it's actually just going to be 3 of those. So it's the same, that one, the bottom one, and that one are just the same because those are the x. So we can actually put a 3 on there. That gives me x squared plus x squared plus 6x squared plus 3x. And we're told that that equals 140. Tidying this up, this and this and this, all like terms, 8x squared plus 3x is 140. And that gives me then 8x squared plus 3x minus 140 equals 0 as required. Calculate the volume of the box. Well, we need to find x, and once we've found x, then we can kind of multiply it all up and find the volume then of the box. So we're going to try and solve this equation here. So we're taking this piece of information then and solving it. X squared plus 3x minus 140 equals 0. Now remember, you have a calculator, it will most likely kind of solve this for you as well. There's a couple of different options to do it. You could factorize it, you could do 8 times minus 140 and work out what you're going to get. There are different options for this, or you could use the formula. I'm just going to use the formula here. It might be what most people opt for because it's quite hard to factorize. Although you might be able to come up with a factor. So that would be A is 8, B is 3, and C is minus 140. And using the formula of x equals minus b, so it's minus 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus minus 8. So 8 times 140 times 4. What do they do with a calculator here? 8 multiplied by 140 times by 4, which I think then is 4480. And that's all over 2a, which is 16. That gives me x is minus 3 plus or minus the square root of 4489. And over 16, and that gives me 67. The square root of that just comes out to be a nice number. Either way, we get a negative, we get a positive, and so we get x is equal to 4. So our volume is x times x times, what's it done with this? Where's the picture? X times 2x plus 1. I mean, you can tidy it all up first and then kind of put the 4 into it, whatever way you want to do it, or just go 4 times 4 times 9, because you see what it did there, 2 times the 4 plus the 1, so that'll be fine. 4 times 4 times 9 then gives us 144. Question 20, the length of a rectangle is 5.4, correct the 1 decimal place. The area of a rectangle, 23.21, correct the 4 significant figures. Calculate the minimum value of the width. So my width here is going to be my area all over my length. We're trying to find the minimum value, so we need to think about this. We need to make this as big as possible and this as small as possible. So this here as big as possible is going to be 23.2. Sorry, we need to make this as, looking for minimum, so 23.205. Sorry about that. I need to make this as big as possible to make this their whole thing then a minimum. So it's going to be 5.45. So you're looking for the lower bound for this one here, and the upper bound for this one here, and you divide those. If you divide those into kind of 3 centimeter figures or whatever, you get 4.26. Question 21, the diagram shows a circle with centre 0. SR is a tangent, that's okay. Find the sizes of angles X and Y, giving reasons for each stage of your working. Well, let's see. This is a tangent and that's a radius. So that angle there plus the 68 equals 90. So angle ORP which is then kind of 22 degrees. Okay, and that's because tangent meets radius at 90 degrees. If that's 22, that is 22, because look, that's a nice isosceles triangle there. So OPR equals ORP, which is 22, so that's my value then for X, because that's an isosceles triangle. So that one then is 22, so that's my value of X then is going to be 22. If this is 22 and this is 22, then the angle then at O, POR equals 180, take away 22 times 2, and that is the angle then 136, and that's angles in a triangle, so that's going to be 136. If that's 136, this then has to be half of it. So that then is going to be 68. Now you could get the 68 from the alternate segment theorem there as well. 68 there, that's 68 there. A couple of different ways of working it out. I've maybe gone a bit of a slow way here, but that's okay. PQR is equal to 180 divided by 2, which is 68. Angle at circumference equals half angle at centre. And then we have a quadrilateral here. So we know that that is 68. A couple of different ways really working out. That's 68, that's 41, that's 360 minus 136. So we can work out this plus this plus this plus this equals 360. So y then 27 degrees, if that's a straightforward enough sum, that's because of angles in a quadrilateral equal 360. Now there are different ways of doing that, but that's the method that I've chosen. Probably alternate segment theorem there, because that's 60 and that's 68 might have been a better way to go, but that's okay. Factorize this. So these are always messy. The way I do it is 8 times minus 5, so it's multiply to give me minus 40, and they add then to give me minus 6, so it's going to be some sort of form of 10 and 4, so I'm going to split my middle term. It's 8. In fact, I apologise, I'm going to take out an a first, so it's a upon 8x squared minus 6xy minus 5y squared, and then it's going to be a upon 8x squared minus 10xy plus 4xy minus 5y squared. That's me splitting the middle term. That gives me a, and then upon, I can take out a 2x here. So it gives me x. Sorry, it's a 4x minus 5y, and then plus y minus 5y. And we have that. And so my final line then is a upon what's not in the bracket, 2x plus y, 4x minus 5y. And again, just for my marks then, I would write that into there. Question 23, solve the following equation given your answer to 2 decimal places. This is going to be an algebraic fraction equation. It's probably going to turn into a quadratic here. So I'm going to times top and bottom of this one by 2x minus 3. So it's going to be 4, 2x minus 3 all over 3x plus 1, 2x minus 3 plus 5 on 3x plus 1 all over 3x plus 1, 2x minus 3, and that equals a third. I can join those then all together. So my top line will become 8x minus 12 plus 15x plus 5. And then I can multiply this out as well. Now some people wait till they multiply up here, but that's okay. I'm going to multiply it out here, so give you 6x squared. Outer and inner, that's a minus 9 plus a 2, so it's going to be minus 7x minus 3 equals a third. Tidying this up, 8 and the 15 is 23x minus 12 plus 5 minus 7 all over 6x squared minus 7x minus 3 equals a third. And again, we can do this a couple of different ways, but I would I'd probably times through everything by 3 and then times through everything by this. So it's going to be 3 upon 23x minus 7 is equal to 6x squared minus 7x minus 3. That's a wee bit messy. Normally multiply through by there and then I get times by 3. So just times this by 3 rather than find the third then of this. So that gives me 69x minus 21, 6x squared minus 7x minus 3, and then taking everything to this side here, my quadratic becomes 6x squared minus 76x plus 18 equals 0. I don't think this is going to factorize because they say give answer to 2 decimal places, so we need to use inner formula. A is 6, B is minus 76, and C is 18. So x is 76 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's 76 minus 76 squared minus 4, 6, 18, all over 2a, which is 12. And if you put that into your calculator, I'm not going to sit and run through it, but hopefully you're familiar enough with kind of putting that into your calculator. We get 2 different answers, 2 decimal places. 12.43, check and see if you can get that, and the other one then is 0.24. Question 24, then the histogram shows the weights of 894 dogs registered with a vet. 48 dogs are under 10 kilograms. And calculate 48 dogs are under 10 kilograms. Calculate an estimate for the number of dogs weighing between 14 and 21 kilograms. So we need to kind of use this. So the area represents then the frequency. So that's 48. And so if that distance there is 4, then this here then must be 12. So that wee point there then must be 12, and that makes each of those 3. So it means this one here is 15, and this one here is 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, and then 105, and so on, then to kind of work out then your frequency density. That's effectively going to be kind of your frequencies in from there. So if we kind of go 4 times the 12, then it gives you then the 48. So we estimate the number of dogs weighing between 14 and 21. So this one here, that's 4, and that's 75. 4 times 75 gives me 300. This here is 2, that's 105, 120, so that's 123. So it's 2 times 123, so that's going to be 246. And then this is 6, and this here, let me see, 15 plus 9 is 24, so it's 6 times 24. Let me see, I think, isn't it? Yeah. So that's 144, but we want a sixth of that, so it's 144. So yeah, this one's 144, but we just want this wee bit here because we only want up to 21, so we want a sixth of that. So if I divide that by 6, then that wee area then is going to be 24. So if I add this value, and this value, so that's 30 plus 246 plus 24, I end up then with 570, and that's my estimate then for the dogs in those categories. Part B then is calculating an estimate for the median weight of the dogs, so a tough enough one here. So we're looking for half of this value here, and half of this value here then is at 447, so we're looking for the 447th dog and where we think it is. So there's 48 and 66 and 90. So if we go 48 plus 66 plus 90, that takes us, those three, you can take my word for it, take us into 204. So it's going to be, what are we going, 447, so take it to 204. So we want then, let's see, 48 plus 66 plus 90 is going to be 204. And so then we want the 447th value, so it's 447, take away 204, and that of course then gives us 243. So we want then 243 of the way through this. So it's 243 times 300th of the way through that, and then add the 14 to that. So 243 300ths of the way through that, and that will give us a sum then that we need. So it's going to be, so the start of this group is 14. So it's going to be 14 plus 243 300ths of the size of this group between 14 and 18. So that's then times by 4. These are tough, and if you do that calculation, you end up then with 17.24. So that's our guess then for that. Question 25, we have to simplify this here. So we're going to factorize. So an x squared comes out here, x squared divided 1x minus 3, and then I hope you can spot the bottom of this then as the difference of two squares. So it's going to be x plus 3x minus 3. The x minus 3 cancels with the x minus 3, so we're left then with x squared all over x plus 3. Finally then, question 26, solid cone of radius r and perpendicular height 9. Solid hemisphere, radius r, surface areas of both shapes are equal, calculate the value of the radius r. So it's surface areas we're dealing with here. So the surface area for this one is going to be pi rl plus pi r squared, because we need the wee circle on the bottom, if you remember that. And we need to work out this bit here, so we need to do a bit of Pythagoras here, and for that. Surface area of this, surface area of a sphere, it's given your formula, the inside front cover is 4 pi r squared. So we need half of that, which is 2 pi r squared plus the circle on the top. So that one there is going to be 3 pi r squared. So we need to do our sums with this, and then we'll tidy up from there. So first of all, if I can do a bit of Pythagoras then for this. This is a little bit messy because of our numbers. That's r, that's 9, and so this here is l. So l squared is equal to 9 squared plus r squared. L squared is equal to 81 plus r squared. L then is the square root of 81 plus r squared. So the surface area of the cone is going to be pi times r times 81, square root of 81 plus r squared, plus pi r squared, and that's then set equal to the surface area of the sphere, which is 3 pi r squared. There's a pi r squared there, and there's 3 pi r squared there, so I'm going to change those two around. So I'm going to go 2 pi r squared, now change this around a bit, is equal to pi r root 81 plus r squared. I can divide, so there's supposed to be a pi r there. I can divide by pi r, so that gives me then 2r equals the square root of 81 plus r squared. Hopefully you agree with that. So it's cancelled out the pi and cancelled out the r because it's in both terms. So that r goes there, and we end up then with that. We now need to square both sides, so that gives me 4r squared equals 81 plus r squared. That gives me then r squared, 3r squared is 81. R squared is 27, and then find the square root of that, and you end up with 5.196 or something like that. And that's us done.